Alright, we just finished first episode of Season 2 for Castlevania Netflix. A little over a year later, what'd you think?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
Far,
I
so
mean,
good.
This was the episode where we really saw more of Dracula's plans, and we didn't call this back in predictions for Season 2, but we did no mention whatsoever of Curse of Darkness. And we're starting to see some Curse of Darkness. Curse of Darkness is coming in here.
You know, in hindsight, you know, we had this discussion last night, but it's just like, you wouldn't think Curse of Darkness would play a part in a show based on Castlevania 3, but seeing as how, and I thought about it more after we talked about it.
It takes away
it's
3
like
years after.
It's like, you know what? Those characters of Isaac and Hector are supposed to be involved.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or
because
form in this.
Hector bails right before Dracula Dracula gets killed.
So I guess it makes sense to bring him in. But you know what? I like what they did in this episode, introducing some more aspects of the Castlevania lore. Because thinking back on Season 1, it's just like we really enjoyed like the things that they did sprinkle in, but it wasn't too heavy on it.
No.
And this, so far, just after one episode, it feels like we got a little bit more in there.
Yeah, a little more Castlevania into this world. Like, even little things such as, like, moving the castle and stuff like that.
Which they did do in Season 1, but it's just like, this time it's just like...
Well, like, it actually showed the thing from Symphony of the Night save room.
It's the
I'm just like, good for you!
And I'm like, so I'm really digging it.
Because, like, the biggest praise I can get is, I want people to look at this the way people looked at Iron Man and Nolan's Batman and said, like, okay, we want comic book movies to be like this. I want people now to be like, okay, we want video game adaptations to be like this.
Look like this. And you know
going forward.
I really am digging this so far. I mean, I just rewatched Season 1. And rewatching Season 1, I still enjoy it. I still like the character, you know, and how they're very character driven.
Yeah, the writing, Dracula as a character.
And sad Dracula.
I feel for him. I really
feel
do.
So bad for him.
When I was watching, I was like, oh.
Did you just say oh?
Yeah. Sad Dracula. Sad Dracula.
The fact that they open up with a flashback to his wife's last night again, and it's just like, that woman is just too fucking good for the world.
Yeah.
She really is.
That's his bitterness. That's his bitterness incarnate. It's like the best thing out of this putrid world, and you took her away. So now I'm just going to smite everything.
Well, I'm sitting here, I'm starting to tear fucking up. I'm tearing up thinking about it again, because you know what? She's being dragged off by this bishop. This...
Easy.
Watch my language.
Yeah. That's going to be censored with the Castlevania sound effect.
I need to watch my language doing this. Anyway, but this bishop that I despise so much.
Yes.
And I was not expecting him to come back in that regard, but I'm glad they did, because it just reminds me how much I hated him and his entire little goon squad.
His arrogance and how she's like, oh, you don't want to anger him, and that just gets him even more pissed off.
It's like she's being dragged off, and she knows just like, I ain't got a chance in hell. They're gonna kill me.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna kill me for being a witch, and the only thing she can think of is her husband. And it's not so much of, oh, he's coming to get you, he's going to avenge me or something like that, or he's going to save me. No, she's legitimately upset because it's just like, you are going to take all the good progress he has made in making him a better person, and you are going to destroy it by killing me. Don't do that to him. So in a way, it's just like her final thoughts are about him, and I'm like, oh, I'm sad now. And there's sad Dracula in his chair. Sad Dracula in his chair.
That's going to take a lot, because, like, now I'm going to see him and, like, be like, oh, because usually it's just, like, the old brooding. I'm just like, the old brooding bastard.
And now it's just like, oh, he's brooding for a reason.
Hang in there, buddy. So he recruits his generals, and he calls them the pirate kings of the nations. That's what it reminded me of. From China, from Norse mythology, all around the world.
You know what? It's interesting though.
Like, you could look at them and you can see just from the design. I'm like, okay, this is
everybody
Egyptian,
is from a different portion of the world. And
I'm
like, that's kind of clever. I don't know if any of them are going to be characters from the game. Especially since the only
highly not like, because we like Godsend,
God brand.
God brand, yeah, God brand. I'm like, sure. For the longest time, I saw trailers. I'm like, is that supposed to be Cornell?
I had no idea.
I was just gonna guess.
Like, I don't know what any of these guys look like. But Godbrand is the only one with a speaking role.
Yeah, he's the only one that's talking right now.
So I'm like, I guess everybody's.
He's a comedy because he has that old thick accent.
Oh my god, that's.
I like boats. I'm a fucking Viking. We're supposed to make boats out of things.
Okay. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, who is this? Because he's got this.
They said that when they said Godbrand, I said, okay, nothing from the game, so he's just
character,
here.
So let's just see what he is. And he's talking, and he's hysterical. He's absolutely hysterical. But I'm sitting there like, who the hell is this voice? This guy sounds so familiar. And I'm just like, oh my god, I know exactly who this is.
You're sick! You're a sick fuck!
I know who he is.
Yeah.
He shows up and shit all the time. Do you remember in The Last Stand, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Yeah.
Okay. The town is being attacked by the drug lords.
Drug lords, yep.
Army, essentially.
Okay.
And there was the head guy in charge.
Oh, that's guy.
That's him.
Really? He is in a lot of stuff.
He's in everything.
He's great.
I see him all the time.
He was in Until Dawn. He was
exactly.
in...
That's what I was thinking.
The Call of Duty commercial.
Yeah.
He's great.
He's really good.
He just has that look. That was him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's I'm sitting here, I'm like, who is that? Who is that? And I just played through Until Dawn recently again, and it's running through my head because he says things. He's got this great accent. He's got this great accent.
Yes, he does.
But then sometimes, like, he'll just randomly say things, and they sound completely off the wall. Like, where did you come from with that?
No.
So, like, he
has a very interesting speech impediment.
Oh my god.
Psychopath!
Before we move on, we do need to talk about Hector and Isaac. Because they're introduced, and they come in.
This is my thing, because we're sitting there, we were looking at each other when it was playing. And the first thing I said
was... Because Hector is clearly Hector. Every detail but shorter hair.
That's my thing. Okay, in a show that they have done so well, you know, like with their character and production design and whatnot, that everybody looks
like the character.
Exactly who it is immediately. Yeah. Like even where you look at Trevor, who you go back and you look at his 8-bit design, or the artwork,
the artwork,
and like you can see elements of that, in the design of Trevor in the show.
Yeah, you can see elements.
And I don't see a Curse of Darkness sitting here, but you look at his design from Curse of Darkness.
Yes, he's not on the cover in Curse of Darkness, but
sure?
I know. Yeah,
okay, well anyway,
I'm positive.
Point is though, you look at his design in Curse of Darkness, and they incorporate elements from that, like the scar right on his face.
Yep,
you know, they incorporate elements, and then they look at the other games in the franchise, like how the Belmonts typically dress, and how do we incorporate that. So it's like you look at them, and you know immediately that's Trevor.
Yep.
You know, and they pull little elements from everywhere. Symphony of the Night. Sypha, she wears blue robes.
Yes.
How do we
in a blue robe?
How do we make this woman in a blue robe look cool? Yeah. And they find a way to make every character look like their game counterpart.
Yep. Dracula.
Everybody. So in walks Hector, and I'm like, that's Hector.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there, he walks up to this tall guy, this tall, bald guy. And I looked over at you and I was like, that can't be Isaac then, can it?
Oh.
And I'm like, wait a second. Isaac was, a very, very skinny, pale as hell, red-headed. Is a masochist somebody who, like,
enjoys pain.
Enjoys their own pain.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he was like a red-headed, lanky masochist.
Yeah. This guy is kind of like stone cold, very composed.
Yeah, and it's
a completely different character, and not just appearance, but voice, personality. Like, they completely took the old Isaac and said, nope, and put this Isaac in. Which, we'll see where he goes, because he hasn't said much.
I want to see where that goes, because from a character design standpoint, I'm a little remiss.
Okay.
Like in a show that does its hardest to, make everybody at least look and feel like their game counterpart, and then adds, this is our character development. So that you get attached to these characters and you have a bit more understanding.
Yeah, like even Hector and his Innocent Devil tie back. like the dog.
I'm glad you said that because I really love how so far we've seen like how the devil forging is played into the show, and you kind of understand like, oh, so this is how they played a part in Castlevania 3. I'm glad you brought that up. That was very nice.
No problem.
But at this point in time, I want to see more of Isaac before I start judging him just based off of what I'm thinking of with his game character.
Yeah, I think we have to just disband that character.
Because you know what, that is a thing. Because we already know Adi Shankar has said that Grant's not showing up in season.
Yes, he said that.
Because it doesn't fit in our world.
Yeah.
So I need to, try to frame that in my mind that maybe Isaac
didn't
doesn't
fit.
work. And let's be honest here.
Did Isaac?
I didn't think Isaac fit in the game. I'm not a big fan of the character. I'm not a slave to it.
That's why I'm just like kind of like, okay.
It's more of the design.
Yeah, if there's one character that you could like get rid of, that would be the one. I was just like, they actually did it.
Because
I like Hector.
You look at Hector. I really like Hector. I like what they're doing so far. But it's just like, that's something else about him though. Hector, if I'm not mistaken in the game, his wife dies.
Yes. We're probably going to see her.
I don't know. Because at this
that
point,
would be the turning
he
point.
should already have a wife. But if he's already like, humanity needs population control, he's not married.
Possibly not.
I don't think he's married. I think they changed his character just that little bit.
All right.
It'll be interesting.
It will be. All right, we're going to continue with episode 2, and we'll see you guys shortly.
Episode 2.
All right.
How things go.
Maybe Dracula will be a little happier.
Sad Dracula gonna.
Poor deer.
Poor deer. Oh my god, he obliterates the deer.
Yep, just by moving the castle. It's like... Castle.
Yeah, what the hell does he need a war for? He just needs to transport his castle around.
Maybe.
Nuke everything with the castle.